Okay, in previous class we are discussing with belt drive. Okay, that is a part of module 4. We discussed about what do you mean by belt drive. Belt drive mainly used to transmit the power from one shaft to another shaft. Okay, and meantime we studied the different materials of belt drive. Like belt drive is made up of leather, or it may be canvas, or it may be fabric belt, or sometimes we are having a material known as ballata. Okay, ballata, rubber, both are same. In rubber, instead of the rubber, that glue whatever used in the ballata is, it is of ballata material. Okay, and we discussed about the two important types of belt drive system. One is open belt drive and another one is cross belt drive. Okay, in the previous class I discussed how to derive the expression for the length of open belt drive. Hope you understood that diagram and derivation. That is L equals to 2C plus pi into R1 plus R2 plus R1 minus R2 whole square divided by C. Okay. In today's class, I'll discuss one more important derivation. Okay. That is length of cross belt drive. It is very similar to your length of open belt drive, but only the structure differs. Okay. Okay. Are you seeing the contents on the screen, guys? Seeing the contents on the screen?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Just before that, you should have you have to analyze the diagram first here. Okay. How to draw the cross belt drive. This is the cross belt drive. As I said, in belt drive, we are having the two pulleys. One is a bigger pulley, which is called as the driver pulley, and another one is smaller pulley. It is called as driven pulley, or it is also called as follower. You remember the driver pulley drives the follower. Okay, is bigger in size as compared to your driven pulley. In case of open belt drive, the belt is running over the two pulleys. But in case of cross belt drive, you see the structure of belt. Okay, it is in cross manner. Okay, so that one end is here, the other end. This is one end, and this is the other end. Means the fashion of the belt is in cross position. That's why it is called as cross belt drive. Okay, one is, as I said, tight side and slack side. First you have to draw one bigger pulley. Next you have to draw the smaller pulley. Next you have to locate the two center points, that is O1 and O2. O1 is your the center point of driver pulley, and O2 is the center point of driven pulley. Okay, next the most important thing is here. After that, ಸರ್ ನಾನು ಕ್ಲಾಸಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ, ಆಮೇಲೆ ಮಾತಾಡಲಿ ಸರ್. 4:30 ಕಾಲ್. ಓಕೆ ಸರ್. ಓಕೆ ಸರ್. Okay, next you have to draw the two lengths. That is, first one is running over this one, and this one you have to join like this. This is the cross belt drive. Next important thing is you have to draw a line, and then you have to join this line. Okay, you have to draw a line in such a way that this length is exactly parallel to this length. Okay, first what you can do, just you extend the line, and then you have to join this line from O1 to this point. Then wherever it is touching, just extend it. Then you have to draw a line. This angle is your 90 degree. Okay, so same thing you have done in the open belt drive. Okay, next whatever angle is there, no, that is the angle of contact, that is your alpha, and from here to here it is r1, the radius of bigger pulley, and r2 is the radius of a smaller pulley. Here also r2. Okay, next we are having the alpha. Okay, this is the alpha. You remember alpha is this value equals to this value, and this value is equals to this value. All the angle of contacts are same, and the value of angle of alpha is small in nature. Okay, but you have to draw the diagonal. First two lines, then you have to, whatever this one is there, no, just you join this point with center point O2. Next you have to join this one, then just you extend it up to point P, and here also just you draw a line in such a way that this line and this line are parallel. Meantime this line and this line are same, because this is R1 and this is also R1. The value of R1 equals to the value of R1 here. The whatever extension you are doing, that the value is exactly same as that of R1. Means from O to P distance is your R1 plus R2. Okay, and O1 is center point of your uh, driver pulley, and O2 is the center point of driven pulley. Okay, next how we are going to find out? Well, as I said, there are three lengths comes into picture. One is R1 is radius of larger pulley, R2 is radius of smaller pulley, C is the center distance between two pulleys, and capital L is total length of the belt. Okay, and L1 is the length of belt in contact with larger pulley. Here L1, L1 means this one, this much portion, that is L1, the length of belt in contact with larger pulley. L2 is the length of belt in contact with your smaller pulley. Apart from these two lengths, we are having two more lengths, that is L3. You have to find out what is the value of this length plus what is the value of this length. Okay, so L equals to L1 plus L2 plus L3. L is total length, L1 is the length of contact related to your driver pulley, L2 is the length of contact related to your smaller pulley, L3 is, these are the two lengths which are not in contact with either of the two pulleys. Okay, so same formula how we are going to did in the open belt drive, same thing here also you have to consider. Okay, the angle L1 is here up to here it is pi, here one alpha and another one alpha, so the total value is pi plus 2 alpha into R1, that is the length of the belt which is in contact with the driver pulley, pi plus 2 alpha into R1. Similarly, you can see pi plus 2 alpha, but in case of open belt drive, we had pi minus of 2 alpha here, but it is the changes. You see, up to here it is pi plus alpha 1 plus alpha. So we are getting 2 alpha. Pi plus 2 alpha into R1 for L1, and L2 is pi plus 2 alpha into R2. That is the length of the driven pulley. Now, next important thing is how to find out this length. Okay, for this purpose, you can consider any one of the length. You remember this length and this length both are same. So just you find out any one of the length. Once you get the value of this length, the other length will be exactly same as that of this length. Okay. Now we found out L1 as pi plus 2 alpha into R1 and L2 as pi plus 2 alpha into R2. And next our aim is to find out the L3, means the length of belt which is not in contact with either of the two pulleys. Okay. In order to calculate, as I said, you have to draw a line, okay, O1P parallel to belt this side. Okay, so you extend this one, you have to draw in such a way that R1 plus R2 equals to this value. Here you have to draw this R1 exactly same as that of this one, and then join this one in such a way that the angle of O1P and O2 should be exactly equals to 90°. Okay, then only we'll get these two lines are parallel and these two lines are parallel. Okay, so this is, you have to draw carefully this one. Okay, from O1 draw a line O1 P parallel to this line. Okay, just you join this one. Okay, whatever line you are joining, just you join here. So draw a line parallel to this line and this line should be same. Okay, next you have to consider triangle O1 O2 P. Okay, this triangle O1 O2 P. Next, in this case, angle P is your 90°, and this O2 P is your adjacent, and then O1P is your base and O1 O2 is your hypotenuse. Just you analyze like this, then apply the Pythagoras theorem. O1 O2P is your adjacent side, O1P is your base, and O1 O2 is your hypotenuse. Next, apply Pythagoras theorem. So O1P, our aim is to find out this length, means it is exactly parallel to this length. Okay, so O1P equals to square root of O1 O2 square minus of O2P square. So consider triangle O1 O2P. So our aim is to find out O1P, square root of O1 O2 square minus of O2P square. Okay, this is from triangle O1 O2P. But what about O1 O2 is nothing but your center distance between two pulleys. Okay, this is O1 and O2. That center distance is represented by symbol C. How we represented in open belt truss, same thing here also. Then how about O2P? You see the diagram. O2P is the summation of R1 and R2. So O2P equals to R1 plus R2. Just you substitute that value. O1 O2 is your C minus O2P is your R1 plus R2 whole square. Okay, next what I'm going to do, I'm going to divide the numerator and denominator by C square. How you did in the open belt truss, same type here also you are going to follow. Okay, for this equation, multiplying and dividing the equation by C square. Okay, so instead of this one you can write C square. This is multiplication. In the bracket you put as it is C square minus of R1 plus R2 whole square divided by C square. Just you are going to multiply and divide the equation by C square, then there will be no change in the equation. Okay, next step what I am doing, just I am taking the C square common. When you are going to take the C square common, inside the bracket we are having 1 minus of R1 plus R2 C whole square. Okay, here R1 plus R2 whole square divided by C square is there. We can write C square in the bracket 1 minus of R1 plus R2 divided by C whole square. Okay, and we can write so this equation like this also. So O1P equals to square root of C square is nothing but C. You can take outside, and whatever the term inside the bracket you can write as it is 1 minus of R1 plus R2 divided by C whole square. Instead of writing square root, just I am putting the power of half. So both are having the same meaning. Okay, so C you take outside, inside the bracket 1 minus of R1 plus R2 divided by C square, and just you remove the square root symbol. Instead of square root symbol, just you write it as half. Okay, first you are applying the Pythagoras theorem, then substituting the values, next multiplying and dividing the denominator by C square, taking C square common, and just you putting in this form to the power of half. Okay, you call it as equation number 4. Equation number 1 is your that is L1 is L total length, L1 plus L2 plus L3 is equation number 1, and L1 is pi plus 2 alpha into R1, equation number 2. L2 equals to pi plus 2 alpha into R2, 3. You remember you'll get pi minus 2 alpha in open belt drive. So just you refer that diagram. So here you'll get pi plus 2 alpha into R2 according to the nature of diagram, and you call this equation as 4. And how you did in the previous case, same thing here also you have to apply. Just you have to apply, you have to expand the terms in the bracket by using binomial distribution theorem and neglecting the higher powers. Just you take the first power only, that is square. Okay, how we are going to expand this one is 1 minus, you take only this term. Okay, whatever the term present inside the bracket, expand it by binomial distribution, and then you neglect the higher powers. Okay, how you are going to write 1 minus of half into 1 plus r1 plus, sorry, r1 plus r2 divided by c whole square. Next you'll get the powers as cube to the power of 4 to the power of 5 you'll get after this one. And don't consider those terms, only you consider the first term, that is a higher powers you neglected, and you take only the first value. Okay, that is expanding the term by binomial distribution. So whatever the term inside the bracket, that is 1 minus of half into r1 plus r2 divided by c whole square. So just you are expanding this term by using binomial distribution. What you are going to do next, just you have to substitute that value in equation number 4. Okay, so whatever term is there, just you replace with this term. Okay, O1 piece you put c as it is in the bracket 1 minus of half into r1 plus r2 divided by c whole square. Okay, just it is a expansion of binomial distribution neglecting the higher powers. Okay, so now whatever the equation we got, this is the expression for O1p. Okay, where is the O1p? O1, this one, whatever length we got, O1p, which is exactly equals to your length. Okay, you call this length as some xy. The xy is exactly equals to your O1p. What equation we got? That is O1p is c, O1p just now we got c into the 1 minus half into r1 plus r2 divided by c whole square. We got this is the expression for O1p. You remember we are having the two lengths. Just now we derived the length for only this part. One more length is there. This length and this length exactly same. That's why just you calculate any one of the thing, either this length or this length. We calculated the expression for O1p, which is exactly equals to this length. You see the cursor, this length. Okay, so and this length is exactly equals to this length. Hence the whatever L3 is 2 times the length of O1p. Okay, so O1p is parallel to this length, and this length are exactly same. So L3 is 2 times of whatever equation we got. Okay, so total length L3. L3 means the length of belt which is not in contact with either of the two pulleys. That is 2 times O1p. Same thing we did in the open belt also. Just you multiply this equation by 2 because we are having two lengths, two cross lengths. 2 times c into, just you write whatever equation is there in the bracket, 1 minus of half into r1 plus r2 divided by c whole square. Okay, you call it as equation number 5. This is the total length of the belt drive which is not in contact with either of the two pulleys. Okay, now we got three equation. Equation number 1 is your total length equation. Okay, equation number 2 is the length of belt which is contact with the driver pulley, and L2 is the length of belt which is contact with your driver pulley. And what about equation number 5 is your the total length of the belt which is not in contact with the either of the pulley. Okay, now I'm going to substitute all the values like L1, L2 and L3 from equation number 2, 3 and 5 in equation number 1. Okay, don't take equation number 4 because this equation indicates the length of only one side. Okay, not two sides. Okay, for that purpose you have to consider equation number 5. Substitute the values of L1 and L2, L3 from equation number 2, 3 and 5 in equation number 1. Okay, that is L equals to L1 plus L2 plus L3. Okay, so L equals to L1 pi plus 2 alpha into R1, the radius of larger pulley, plus this is L2, that is pi plus 2 alpha into R2. R2 is the radius of smaller pulley or driven pulley, plus L3. It is the length of belt which is not in contact with either of the pulley. Okay, L1 plus L2 plus your L3. Okay, whatever equation we are getting from equation number 5. This is equation number 2, equation number 3, and this is equation number 5. Okay, next step is just you have to simplify this one. Okay, simplification, pi plus 2 alpha into R1. Okay, you put as it is, pi plus 2 alpha into R2 as it is. Next, you have to simplify this equation. Okay, 2c into 1 is 2c minus of 2c by 2 means 2 gets cancelled. We'll get, and here 2c divided by c square. Okay, 2c divided by 2c square means you'll get only 1c in the denominator, and in the numerator we'll get R1 plus R2 whole square. Okay, 2c into 1 is 2c minus of 2c divided by 2c square. You'll get 1 by c into R1 plus R2 whole square as it is. Just you are simplifying this term. Okay, next step is, so next you have to simplify once again. So pi into R1 plus 2 alpha into R1. You already know R1 is the radius of larger pulley and alpha is the angle of contact between pulley and belt drive. Okay, that is angle of contact. Pi into R2 plus 2 alpha into R2 plus 2c minus of R1 plus R2 whole square divided by c. Okay, next step is I am taking here pi R1 plus pi R2. I am taking pi as common factor in the bracket R1 plus R2. You consider first and third term. Pi is common in the bracket R1 plus R2. Plus we are having second, I am considering second and fourth term. 2 alpha R1 plus 2 alpha R2. Here 2 alpha is common in the bracket R1 plus R2. And fifth term you put as it is, and sixth term as it is. Just I am reshuffling the terms and taking the common things. Okay, pi into R1 plus R2 plus 2 alpha into R1 plus R2 plus 2c minus of R1 plus R2 square divided by c. Now we call it as equation number 6. But what about alpha? Alpha is the angle of contact. Now I am going to find out the alpha. Okay, so just you see the diagram once again. See the diagram. Okay, this is the diagram, and here O1 O2P is a right angle triangle. Here angle PO1 O2 is your alpha. Then what about sine alpha? Sine alpha is your opposite side by hypotenuse. So sine alpha is opposite side divided by hypotenuse. What is opposite side? O2P divided by hypotenuse is your O1 O2. So what is O2P? It is a summation of R1. So this value same, summation of R1 and R2 divided by O1 O2. What is O1 O2? It is a center distance between two pulleys. Okay, from the right angle triangle O1P O2, sine alpha equals to O2P divided by O1 O2. O2P is nothing but R1 plus R2 divided by C. Okay, that is your sine alpha. Okay, sine alpha equals to R1 plus R2 divided by C. Okay, so now you call it as equation number 7. As I said, for smaller values of alpha, Sine alpha is you take approximately as alpha only, okay, because the angle is small. Sine alpha equals to alpha only. So sine alpha is nothing but your alpha only. Alpha equals to R1 plus R2 divided by C. Okay. So, but you have to consider that triangle carefully. You have to take the angles properly. Sine alpha you have to take, that is opposite by hypotenuse, R1 plus R2 divided by C. For smaller values of alpha, sine alpha, we are representing it at just alpha. Okay. Next step, you are going to substitute that alpha equals to R1 plus R2. You call it as equation number 8. Sine alpha, you call it as equation number 7. And just alpha, these are same, equals to equation number 8. And this is equation number 6. Now I am going to substitute the value of alpha equals to R1 plus R2 divided by C from equation number 8 in equation number 6. Okay, this is equation number C. You observe here alpha, substituting the value of alpha from equation number 8 in equation number 6. Okay, so next step is you are going to substitute the value of alpha, that is pi into R1 plus R2 as it is plus 2 as it is. And what about alpha? Alpha is R1 plus R2 divided by C. One more R1 plus R2 is there. Okay, so R1 plus R2 into R1 plus R2 is nothing but R1 plus R2 whole square. You substitute the value of alpha as R1 plus R2 divided by C. So after multiplication, we will get 2 into R1 plus R2 whole square divided by C, and plus 2C as it is. Okay, minus of this term also as it is. Okay, just you are going to substitute the value of alpha from equation number 8 in equation number 6. Okay, in the next step, so here 2R1 plus R2 square divided by C minus of R1 plus R2 square divided by C means it is 3x minus 2x, same thing, same meaning. So plus 2 minus 1, you'll get only one R1 plus R2 whole square divided by C plus 2C. You consider second and fourth term, plus 2 minus 1. Okay, you'll get only one R1 plus R2 whole square divided by C. Okay. Next, I am rearranging the terms. Okay. Rearranging the term is first, instead of writing this one, I am putting this 2C as first. Next, second term, pi into R1 plus R2 plus R1 plus R2 whole square divided by C. So this is the expression for the length of cross belt drive in terms of center distance, in terms of radius of the larger pulley or radius of the driver pulley, and R2 is the radius of driven pulley or follower pulley. Okay, so it is, the equation is exactly similar to that of your open belt drive. So, but in case of open belt drive, the first two terms are same, no change. But third term we are getting it as R1 minus R2. But here we are getting as R1 plus R2 whole square. Just remember only one the symbol difference. Okay, but whatever the procedure is exactly same to that of your open belt drive. Okay. So are you getting any doubts in this derivation? Okay. So whatever derivation I did, it is exactly similar to your open belt drive. Only the structure changes. Any doubts? Yes. Anurag Ghosh. Okay. Okay. Next. Yeah. What is the velocity ratio in belt drive? Okay, so the velocity ratio plays very important role in belt drive. Okay, so how to find out velocity ratio? So velocity ratio is defined as the ratio between the speed of driven pulley to the speed of driving pulley or driver. Okay, it is the ratio of speed of driven pulley. As I said, driven pulley is smaller in size, whereas the driver pulley is larger in size. So ratio of velocity of driven pulley to the driver pulley is called as velocity ratio. Okay, next you consider, let D1 be the diameter of driving pulley, D2 is the diameter of driven pulley, and small n1 is speed of driving pulley, and n2 is speed of driven pulley. Okay, and you remember that the linear speed any point in a belt drive should be same, and linear speed is given by the formula pi into d into n. Okay, so as the linear speed at any point in the belt drive remains same, hence we can write it as pi d1 n1 equals to pi d2 n2. Okay, so where d1 is diameter of driver pulley, and n1 is speed of driver pulley, and n2 is speed of driven pulley, and d2 is the speed diameter of driven pulley. So this is called as linear speed. Okay, so pi gets cancelled, d1 n1 equals to d2 n2, and from this equation we can write it as n2 by n1 equals to d1 by d2. What is n2? Speed of driven pulley, and n1 is speed of driver pulley, and d1 is diameter of bigger pulley, that is driver pulley, and d2 is the diameter of driven pulley. So in this equation, the ratio n2 by n1 is called as the velocity ratio, or speed ratio, or transmission ratio. Okay, hence in case of belt drive, the speed is inversely proportional. You can observe here, n2 is inversely proportional to d2, and n1 is inversely proportional to d1. Hence it is inversely proportional in case of belt drive. So as the speed diameter decreases, speed increases. Okay, as diameter increases, speed decreases, like that, vice versa. Okay, the speed ratio is inversely proportional to a diameter in case of a belt drive. Okay, so n2 by n1 equals to d1 by d2. You consider this is the equation. Okay, sometimes the thickness of belt is taken into consideration. Okay, thickness of belt may be 2 mm or 3 mm. In most of the cases, the thickness will be neglected. Suppose if they give thickness in the problem, just you have to add n2 by n1 equals to d1 plus t divided by d2 plus t. Okay, so where n2 is the speed of n2 is speed of driven pulley, n1 is speed of driver, d1 is the diameter of driver, and d2 is the diameter of a driven pulley. So it is always inversely proportional to the diameter. Okay, as the diameter increases, speed decreases. On the other hand, when the diameter decreases, speed increases, like that. Okay, so when thickness is taken into consideration, we are going to consider it as d1 plus t divided by d2 plus t. This is called as velocity ratio, or speed ratio. Okay. Okay, next, one more important term I want to explain, that is called as power transmission in a belt drive. Okay, so this, as I said, the belt drive is mainly used to transmit the power from one shaft to another shaft. Okay, so let T1 is force or tension in the tight side of the belt. Okay, and T2 is the tension in the loose side of the belt. D1 is diameter of the driver pulley, and D2 is the diameter of driven pulley. Okay, how you studied in case of brake power in IC engine, same thing here we have to consider. Then what is the net force? Net force is your T1 minus T2. Okay, and it is in Newton. Okay, remember T1, suppose you take in Newton, you have to write the expression as T1 minus T2. Suppose if you are going to convert in kilonewton, just T1 minus T2 divided by 1000 kilonewton. Okay. Next, this is how to find out force. Nothing else. T1 is force in tight side. T2 is force in loose side. D1 is diameter of driver pulley in meter. D2 is the diameter of driven pulley in meter. So F equals to T1 minus T2 divided by 1000 kilonewton. Okay. Next, one more formula is there. Power formula. Power is just force into your linear speed. Okay. Force into velocity, where we are going to express velocity in terms of a meter per second, and that is given by pi d1 n1 divided by 60 or pi d2 n2 divided by 60. Both are having the same value. So when you calculate, you'll get the same value. Either you can take V as pi d1 n1 divided by 60 and pi d2 n2 divided by 60. Okay, don't take n1 directly here, where we are going to express V in terms of, this is called as linear speed. Okay, that is pi d1 n1 divided by 60 or pi d2 n2 divided by 60, and the standard formula is t1 minus t2 into v, where v is velocity. That is, t1 is tension in the tight side and t2 is the tension in the slack side of the belt. Okay, divided by 1000 means that gives the value in kilowatt, and whatever small v is gives your velocity of belt in meter per second. That is exactly equals to pi d1 n1 divided by 60 or pi d2 n2 divided by 60. So you have to remember this formula. First one is length of open belt drive, that is 2c plus pi into r1 plus r2 plus r1 minus r2 whole square divided by c. Second one is length of cross belt drive, that is 2c plus pi into r1 plus r2 plus r1 plus r2 whole square divided by c. And this is a third formula to find out the power in the belt drive, that is a t1 minus t2 into v divided by 1000 kilowatts, and t1 is tension in the tight side of the belt in Newton, and t2 is tension in the slack side, that is also in Newton, and v is linear velocity, that is pi d1 n1 divided by 60 or pi d2 n2 divided by 60. D1 is the diameter of larger pulley and n1 is the speed of driver pulley in RPM. Okay, this is how to calculate the power transmitted in the belt drive. We are coming across one more term called as slip. Okay, so sometimes you might have seen there will slippage occurs in the belt. Okay, so suppose if there is no proper grip exist between the two pulleys, in such cases certain sort of slip takes place. Okay, so and how we are going to define the slip is that it is a relative motion of the pulley and the belt passing over it. Okay, so this is a relative motion between the pulley. It may be driver pulley or it may be the driven pulley, and whatever the belt passing over in the belt drive, that is called as slip. Okay, and slip is given by the formula. Already you know the speed ratio or velocity ratio as n2 by n1 equals to d1 by d2. Okay, so slip is defined as same thing you have to take whenever, if whatever equation I derived, this is without slip, that is n2 by n1 equals to d1 by d2, so that there should be no slip. If slip is there in the belt drive, in that case we are going to write the equation as n2 by n1 equals to, same thing you have to take whatever you took in the velocity ratio, just you had to multiply by this factor 100 minus s divided by 100. Okay, so just suppose if you omit this term, it is without slip. With slip is n2 by n1 equals to d1 by d2 in the bracket 100 minus s divided by 100, where s is in percentage slip. So this is the expression for the velocity ratio when slip is considered without thickness. If thickness is considered, in that case just n2 by n1 equals to d1 plus t divided by d2 plus t into 100 minus s divided by 100. Okay, so you should remember now third and fourth formula. Okay, so here one formula is n2 by n1 is d1 by d2. This is the velocity ratio without slip and without thickness. This equation is velocity ratio when thickness of the belt is considered, that is n2 by n1 equals to d1 plus t divided by d2 plus t. When the slip is considered, you have to write this formula, that is n2 by n1 equals to d1 by d2 into 100 minus s divided by 100. Okay, and when thickness of the belt is considered, n2 by n1 equals to d1 plus t divided by d2 plus t. Okay, into 100 minus s divided by 100, where s is called the slip. Okay, next one more term is called as creep in belt drive. Okay, so as we said, in case of belt drive, there are two sides. One is a tight side and one is a loose sides. Okay, whenever in case of belt drive, the driver pulls the belt from the driven and hence receives the more length. Okay, because the driver pulley receives the more length. That's why it is called as this one tight side of the belt. On the other hand, then it transmits that power from driver pulley to driven pulley. In that case, whatever the length towards your driven pulley is less. That's why it is called as a loose side. Okay, and you remember the driver receives more power because it draws from the driven. On the other hand, the driver transmits the power from driver to driven. In that case, the length will be less. That is called as the slack side. Okay, one is loose side and one is the slack side. Okay. Next, now just I'll discuss what are the advantages and disadvantages of your flat belt drives. Okay, flat means whatever we studied, open belt drive and cross belt drive. Just I'll highlight these things. Okay, the advantages of flat belt drive are, so the belt drives, what are the advantages? Belt drives can be used when the center distance between two shafts is large. Okay, so on the other hand, we are having chain drives also. So when you are in, I think you might have seen in the cycles where center distance is small, whereas in case of floor mills, the center distance is large. That's why belt drives are preferred over the chain drives in case of floor mills. Okay, the belt drive can be used to transmit the power when the center distance is large. And one more thing, you can change the speeds, okay, by varying the diameters. As I said, by varying the diameter, we can change the speed, as speed ratio is inversely proportional to your the diameters. Okay, and the belt drives are very simple in construction and in operation. Okay, so the operating cost of belt drives are low, okay, compared to other drives because of the material of the belt drives, and smoothness of the operation happens and ability to absorb the shocks due to elasticity in case of belt drive. Okay, so these are the advantages. Okay, So the belt drives can be used when the center distance between two shafts is large. The speeds can be varied by varying the diameters. It is very simple in construction and operation and low operating cost. Okay, and smoothness of the operation happens in the uh, belt drive. Okay, next, disadvantages. Whenever the center distance between the 2 points are small, in that case, we are not going for belt drives. Rather, we are going for gear drives. Okay, the belt drives are not efficient when the center distance is small. Okay, as I said, always we are getting the slip in the belt drives. We have to maintain the same velocity ratio. Once the velocity ratio is changed, then in that case the efficiency of the system decreases. Hence, in order to get the exact velocity ratio, so we have to maintain the same velocity ratio to get the good efficiency. Okay, because of the slip. Slip is one the disadvantage in the belt drive. Okay, and we cannot transmit the higher power in case of belt drives. Only the moderate power can be transmitted in the belt drive. Okay, and the belt drives are used only for transmitting the power between the two parallel shaft. Okay, only when the shafts are mounted in parallel position, then only we can transmit the power, but non-parallel shafts, it is not useful. That is one drawback of your belt drive. Okay, whereas the other drives like gear drives and chain drives, we can transmit the power for non-parallel shafts also. Okay, and one more thing, whatever the slip between the belt and pulley cause the driven pulley to rotate at lower speed. Whenever the slip exists, in that case, the driven pulley rotates at very low speed, and this decreases the efficiency of your the belt drive. Okay, these are the few drawbacks of belt drive. One is whenever center distance is small, in that case belt drives are not useful. Due to slip, the driven pulley rotates at very slow speed, hence the power decrease takes place, and the belt drives are used to transmit the only for parallel shafts. Okay, non-parallel shafts, it is not useful. Okay, so these are the some advantages and disadvantages of the flat belt drive over the other belt drives. Okay. Ananya Patak. Ananya Patak. Okay, guys, hope you understood this derivation for this one, the length of cross belt drive. Okay, so these are the two important derivation you remember. Okay, one is the length of open belt drive, another one is the length of cross belt drive, and also whatever the power transmitted in the belt drive. Okay, so thanks for joining this session. So I'll continue the session tomorrow. Okay.